Have you ever had a moment with your child where they suddenly weren't a child anymore? Where the little person you've been raising, the one who throws tantrums over broccoli and negotiates for 5 more minutes of screen time, suddenly speaks to you like an old soul, like someone who's lived before? Today, I'm sharing a story that still gives me chills 2 years later. A moment so profound that I immediately grabbed my phone and wrote it down because I knew I'd witnessed something I couldn't explain. This is my glitch in the Matrix story. And if you have kids in your life, something tells me you might have experienced something similar. Let me paint you a picture of my son at 5 years old. Typical kid, full of energy, always goofing around, making silly faces, turning everything into a game. Serious conversations, not his style. He was, and still is, this little tornado of joy and chaos who sees the world as one big playground. And like most 5-year-olds, he had an agenda. Every interaction was an opportunity. Dad, can we get ice cream? Dad, can you buy me that Lego set? Dad, what if I clean my room and do my homework? Then can we... You know what I'm talking about. That constant negotiation. That beautiful, exhausting, selfish worldview that kids have because, well, they're kids. Their brains haven't developed empathy and perspective the way ours have. It's not malicious. It's just where they are, developmentally. So when my son came up to me one afternoon and asked, Dad, can we go for a walk? Just you and me. I laughed. I immediately thought, well, okay, what's he working up to? What's the angle here? Is there a new toy at the store? Did he break something and he's trying to soften me up first? I said, yes, of course. We grabbed our jackets and headed out the door. But I was bracing myself, waiting for the pitch. We start walking down our street, just the two of us. The sun's getting lower in the sky. It's quiet, peaceful. I glance down at him and ask, so, what's on your mind, buddy? And he says, nothing really. I just want to have some time to be with you and be peaceful and be out in nature. Okay, not what I expected. But all right, maybe he's growing up a little. Maybe he's actually learning to appreciate quiet moments. I'm feeling good about this. Proud, even. We keep walking, and then he says something that made my heart stop. I want you to know you're the best dad I've ever had. The best dad I've ever had. Not you're the best dad. Not you're a great dad. He said, I've ever had. Like there had been others. But he wasn't done. He continued. You really do help me and my sister a lot, and you're really very nice, even though we don't usually tell you. So I just wanted to say thank you for everything, and that I want to be near you always. I couldn't speak. My throat tightened. My eyes started burning with tears. The only reason I didn't completely break down right there on the sidewalk was because part of my brain was still waiting for the punchline, still waiting for, so can we get a puppy? Or, so, about that Lego set. But it never came. I managed to choke out something like, I'm really glad to hear that, buddy. I love you very much. And we just walked in silence, together. Two souls sharing space. It felt like I wasn't talking to my 5-year-old son anymore. It felt like I was talking to someone who had been here before. Someone wise. Someone who had seen multiple lifetimes and had chosen this moment, this walk, to break through the veil and speak directly to me. Soul to soul. And then, just as quickly as it happened, it was over. We got home. He ran inside, started playing with his toys, asked for a snack, went right back to being the goofy, silly, wonderful kid I know. Like nothing had happened. But something had happened. So what do we make of moments like these? If you're a parent, a teacher, an aunt or uncle, a grandparent, if you spend time with kids, you might have experienced something similar. Those eerie moments when a child says something impossibly wise, when they reference things they couldn't possibly know, when they look at you with eyes that seem far too old for their little face. Some people would say it's just coincidence. Kids say random things all the time, and sometimes they accidentally sound profound. Others believe in reincarnation, that souls live multiple lives, and every once in a while, especially in young children, memories from past lives bubble up to the surface. There's actually research on this. Dr. Jim Tucker at the University of Virginia has documented thousands of cases of children who recall specific details from alleged past lives, details that were later verified, names, places, events they couldn't have known. But you don't have to believe in reincarnation to feel the weight of these moments. Maybe it's about consciousness itself. Maybe children, before they're fully socialized and conditioned, are more open, more connected to something deeper. They haven't built up all the walls and filters that we adults have. Maybe in that moment on our walk, my son tapped into something universal, a deep knowing, a glimpse behind the curtain of whatever this reality is. Or maybe, and this is what I find most beautiful, maybe he was just being completely, authentically present. Maybe that's what made it feel so otherworldly. Because how often do we, as adults, experience that? True presence, no agenda, no performance, just being. Children haven't learned to hide their hearts yet. And maybe that afternoon, my son simply wanted to tell me how he felt. With zero filters. With complete vulnerability. And maybe that's the real magic. Here's what I want you to know if you've experienced something like this. You're not alone, and it matters. These moments, and whether you call them glitches in the matrix, spiritual experiences, or just really special conversations, they matter because they remind us that the people in our lives, especially the little ones, are more than we sometimes give them credit for. They're not just kids to be managed or tasks to be completed. They're full human beings, complex, deep, mysterious. And every once in a while, they let us see that. So pay attention. When your kid asks you to go for a walk, say yes. When they want to tell you something, put down your phone. When they get quiet and thoughtful, don't rush them. Because you never know when you're going to get one of these moments, one of these gifts. And trust me, you'll want to remember it. I'm so grateful I wrote mine down. I'm so grateful I have those notes on my phone because the details would have faded. But the feeling? That's seared into my soul forever. 2 years later, my son is still the same goofy, energetic, wonderful kid. We've never talked about that walk. He's never brought it up again. And honestly, I don't think he remembers it. But I do. I remember it every time he's driving me crazy, negotiating for treats, leaving his toys everywhere. I remember it when I'm tired and frustrated and wondering if I'm doing any of this parenting thing right. Because for just a few minutes on an ordinary afternoon, someone, whether it was my son, his soul, the universe itself, told me I was doing okay. That I was seen, appreciated, loved. And really, isn't that what we're all hoping for? So that's my story. My glitch in the matrix. My moment of breaking through. I'd love to hear yours. If you've experienced something similar with a child in your life, share it in the comments below. Let's create a space where we can talk about these unexplainable, beautiful, haunting moments that remind us we're part of something bigger. Thanks for listening. Thanks for being here. And if you have a kid in your life, go give them a hug. You never know what they might say.